Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome the fuck back. Let's just dig right into it. What is the LDBC? This is a response video to a lot of our, subscribers coming out asking what is the LDBC, report on these guys. And you know what? This is a complete boxing channel, and I don't like to get into these other biased channels, but this is a request, and I'm going to fulfill this request because I've been overwhelmed on social media, the comment sections, Q&As, everyone wanting to get into this. What is the LDBC? And let's just break down what the LDBC is. The LDBC is a group of biased fanboys who do nothing more than report on their biased perspective, and their biased perspective is pushed by a narrative based on two things. One is race, and two is basically a promoter bias, such as the PBC. These guys are all PBC fanboys. All of the LDBC is fanboys, and so you have to understand that we can't be biased when we report on it. And when we speak on the LDBC, we have to understand that these guys are just fanboys. These guys don't know anything about boxing, because all of these guys said that Deontay Wilder stops Tyson Fury in 4 rounds. All of these guys, none of these guys know anything about boxing. They said in 3 or 4 rounds, Tyson Fury were going to get stopped by Deontay Wilder. And this lets you know that these guys don't look at pure boxing ability and skills. They don't look at the fundamental flaws in Deontay Wilder. These guys aren't looking at facts. They're promoting a narrative. And then as soon as Deontay Wilder lost, these guys try to cover it up and be fanboys, Let's just look at some of the titles to some of these, these videos that these guys have. These are clear fanboy titles, and you have so many fanboy channels in the LDBC that these guys want me to address. And so I'll just go over a few and just break them down for you. Now, the first, that we have to get into, the first fanboy channel has to be Boxing Ego. Boxing Ego is clearly an LDBC channel, yet yes, he may not openly label himself that, but he has all the characteristics and trademarks as an LDBC channel. Race baiting, but also the same type of material, and that is pushing a PBC narrative, a pro PBC narrative. And we do our homework and we break down, when Demetrius Andre didn't end up fighting Billy Joe Saunders because, that fight wasn't able to be pulled off, and it wasn't Demetrius Andre's fault. It wasn't DAZN's fault, and it wasn't Eddie Hearn's fault. And yet, Bias Ego bashed DAZN, saying these guys desperately need a card. These guys are putting on garbage fights. And then turns around, the PBC comes out, and you see Gervonta Tank Davis has an opponent, has an abnormatis. That fight's canceled, and he has to fight a replacement fighter. But yet he does not say that that's a garbage fight. He does not say that that is a bum bash. He still says it's going to be a good fight, an interesting fight. So you see how the narrative changes when it's a PBC fighter that's being pushed. So these guys are just fanboys. These guys don't understand levels in boxing. That's why these guys don't come out and put anything serious. You have to understand that. You have to look at this. You got to be unbiased. You have a guy called the Goodfella Sports. This guy is complete garbage. He's just clearly a sub chaser. Everything that he puts out is just a biased perspective, a racial narrative. And even when you look at these guys' predictions, they're all garbage. If you look at it like this, these guys come out and say Tyson Fury's gonna be stopped easily by Deontay Wilder, and they were all wrong. And I'm the one who came out and told you that Tyson Fury was gonna win that fight. I'm the one who told you go off boxing ability and skills. Don't look for a guy who's a one-trick pony, because it requires luck to win fights. He's never had a step-up fight. He fought a gassed-out and old Luis Ortiz, but no one wanted to listen. Everyone wanted to rate Luis Ortiz over Tyson Fury at that time, but I was being unbiased. So when you look at it and you see who these guys are, you have to understand that this is what happened. This is part 1 of who is the LDBC. In part 2, we're going to get more in depth on these guys, who these guys are, and how biased they are, because this is a fan's request, and this is multiple subscribers asking for this. So we have to break it down. We have to be unbiased, and we have to be honest. Once again, unbiased as always is the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.